Well, good evening and welcome to our continuing coverage of a winter storm sweeping the Willamette Valley and beyond. We have watched as those bounds of snow picked up across the Portland metro across the afternoon hours. That slushy mess is already creating headaches on our roads, with several spots in our region now forecast to get several inches. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. Multnomah County has declared a state of emergency, meaning TriMet is offering free rides to warming shelters tonight, starting at 6 o'clock. Some schools around the region also let out early and canceled afternoon activities.
So let's get right to team coverage of the snowstorm tonight. We'll check in with meteorologist Matt Zaffino in just a moment. But first, let's go to Joe Ranieri in Southwest Washington, where some areas, Joe, are just getting clobbered.
Yeah, exactly right. And within the last couple of hours, David and Laurel, we've been seeing Vancouver get hit with really heavy snow showers, really since about 1:15, 1:30 when we got out here. We're live along the waterfront in Vancouver, where I would say there's anywhere from 1.5, maybe 2 inches of snow in a few locations just along the sidewalk. But where the heavy snow has fallen so far today is along the east side of I-5. We've all heard the expression about postal carriers.
It's kind of horrible. Our rigs are 4-cylinder, one-wheel, wheel drive, so they don't go nowhere.
Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night is how part of it goes. On Wednesday, postal carrier Sunday Sheely tried desperately to finish her route in Camas as she drove through steep hills with several inches of snow already on the ground.
And I just blew my one-wheel chain, so I'm going to have to put a sock on it and try to get back.
Okay.
Because this is not safe, and tomorrow there'll be ice.
Many people still had to do their jobs, like Camas City worker Mike Clapp.
We're just locking things up, make sure nothing gets, pipes frozen or anything like that.
Who was busy making sure all of the buildings at local parks were safe from freezing temperatures. The snowstorm gave kids who didn't have school a chance to play.
Oh, it's good. Nice to get a day off. It's more snow than I thought it would be. So, have fun sledding.
You ready? Even the kids at Hart got a chance to have a little fun too.
Oh, we love it, man. We just couldn't wait to get out and play,
Were you a little surprised because we didn't get anything in downtown Portland, at least, right now?
Yeah, we seen it last night, and I was like, let's hope it sticks, so we can have some fun today.
We did not expect this much, though, here in Camas. It's fun.
But not everyone was able to have a snow day.
Be patient, like your mail carrier.
Despite what the motto says, and despite her best efforts to get her truck through these hills, even Sheely knew when it was time to call it a day.
Everybody's heading back and not doing good, especially the more rural routes. They're having a tough time.
Now, you guys, when we were up in Camas earlier this morning, they saw anywhere from about 5 to 6 inches of snow. I bet you there's another 3 or 4 on top of that within just the last couple of hours. And a lot of people were having a hard time navigating earlier this afternoon. Now imagine what it's going to be like late tonight and into tomorrow morning with more snow and freezing temperatures. We're live in Vancouver tonight. Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
I was stuck in traffic, but I would have rather been sledding. That looks so fun. Thank you, Joe.
An hour plus, right? All right, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. Now, Matt, 1, how much snow should we prepare for? 2, when's it going to stop?
Well, first of all, can we get some video of Laurel Porter sledding? I mean, who doesn't want to see that? I know I do.
Yeah, you have to go with me, Matt, and David.
Too soon.
Let's do it.
Too soon. We're going to be kind of busy here the next few hours, right?
Exactly, yeah. All right, let's take you to and show you downtown Portland right now from our Rose City Skycam. Looking back on off to the west, I'm using I-5 as roughly the dividing line between areas that are getting snow and areas that are not, but roughly, because downtown, which is west of I-5, has gotten plenty of snow, and you can see it here, and you can see the traffic on I-5 northbound at the bottom of the screen here is moving really slowly. Southbound doesn't look too bad, but the roads are snowy, and you can tell from the camera. And as I look out my window right here, still snowing in downtown Portland, 32 degrees, so it's dropped a bit. East winds continue to blow at 18 miles an hour. Out in Washington County, however, it's just bare grass. There's wet grass. There's no snow on the ground. The clouds are hanging low. It's dropped a couple degrees, and the east winds have now punched on through out towards Hillsborough. They're not that strong, but they have punched through, and that's going to help to lower the temperature, and eventually the snow is going to stick out there. And then this is down at Stoller Vineyard. Clouds hanging low, but again, no snow on the ground in that part of the Willamette Valley in Yamhill County. Okay, snow will continue on and off overnight tonight, especially on the east side of town where it's snowing right now. But I think the snow bands will actually shift a little bit west. So west side, you'll get at least some. East winds are spreading west. That's happening. And the slush and the wet snow will freeze because temperatures are dropping, and it will drop below freezing tonight. Doppler radar, just a great tool right now, showing us where the snow is, and it's all over downtown. It has spread across the West Hills into the eastern parts of Washington County as we speak, and there's more kind of streaming on shore, but the center of circulation just hasn't moved very much over the last several hours. It's parked along the coast out near Tillamook right now, and until that moves away, we're going to continue to see these bands of snow roll through the region, and so far, because that area of low pressure has been stationary, the snow keeps falling in the same area. So here it is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It's finally offshore, but there's still snow across parts of western Oregon. Then it begins to clear out as this moves south and weakens during the day tomorrow. So we got a ways to go before we're out of it. Some snowfall reports for you. 10 inches on Prune Hill and Camas. Rooster Rock, 7 inches. Fairview, 6 inches. You get the idea here. All north and then East County. Mount Tabor, 4 inches at last report. In downtown Portland, I measured 2.3 inches. But there is more on the way, as I said. On top of these amounts, some places may see another 3 inches of snow before it really begins to dwindle late tonight and into tomorrow morning. Guys?
And what a contrast with Stoller Vineyards with green grass there. It's hard to believe. Thank you, Matt. And as the snow comes down this evening, trouble on our roads really is a huge concern. Let's bring in our Catherine Cook now back in Drive 8 for us tonight.
And Catherine, I have this feeling you might be settling in for the long haul out there. How's it looking?
Well, yes, we found ourselves a beautiful parking lot to sit at. It is here along I-5 North at the Terwilliger Curves. It's not really a parking lot, but you can see, David and Laurel, that no one is moving right now. And I can really confidently tell you we've moved less than a mile in the last half hour to an hour or so. And yeah, it's the weather out here, it's wet, it is snowing. There is a little accumulation on the ground here on the west side, but not nearly as much as you've been seeing there from our colleagues on the east side and especially up north in Camas and in Vancouver. But certainly folks out here just want to get home, and that's a very difficult task for them right now. And I have seen ODOT trucks go by with de-icer, laying that down in anticipation for those dropping temperatures tonight. I've been talking with my colleague here about road conditions and how difficult this would be to sit on if and when it turns into ice here later on as the temperatures drop. Looking at our unofficial temperature gauge right now, it says 33 degrees, and the ground, we're moving pretty well without it being too slick, but certainly we're all just thinking ahead to the coming temperatures and conditions for later this evening. But again, right now, the big thing out here is just we're going nowhere fast. Back to you.
All right, Catherine Cook, stuck in a parking lot on I-5 North there. You know what? Google Maps, Trip Check, all a sea of red on almost every major highway, no matter where you go. And Matt, it's also talking about the cold, the bitter cold, that all too familiar east wind as well.
So let's bring in our Tim Gordon over the east part of the city. Tim?
Yeah, you know, we're feeling it out here too off of Foster Road, Southeast Foster Road, about 76. The wind has picked up. It feels colder too at this point, so I think it's really setting in. You can see the roadways here. They're snow covered, you know, they're pretty well tracked, but people getting by, and thankfully the traffic volume's way down at this point. You know, the wind is blowing. Did you just show that, Kyle? Look at the top of this auto shop over here. You see the fan up there on top, the ventilation system. That thing has been spinning hard. It's not going too hard right now, but the wind keeps gusting up and hitting us. So, yeah, East County, east side of Portland, we've got the snow out here, and definitely the colder temperatures and the wind. You know, some people are just getting off work. It looks like this guy over here is getting his car dug out right now. There's another one to the left, Kyle, over there. They're just getting off from their work and having to get the cars clear, which is, there they are, from Dutch Bros, too. Thanks a lot. They're going to get us a hot coffee in a few minutes, you guys. But, you know, it's so important to clear your cars. I don't know how many cars we've seen going down the roadway where they just didn't clear off the snow, and you just can't see. It's not safe. So if you got to drive, clear your car off, drive safely, get home, and get out of this mess. As Matt said, there's more to come. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Tim. We'll check in with you in just a bit. You know what? Stay with KGW for continuing coverage of the winter storm. By the way, delays and cancellations starting to mount at PDX. So if you're flying, picking somebody up, check on those flights first. NBC Nightly News coming up at 5:30, followed by special coverage from 6 until 7:30 this evening. Plus, watch for updates on KGW.com, on our app, and streaming on KGW Plus. That includes a growing list of closures, about 3.5 pages right now, and the warming shelters that are set to open later tonight.
In other developing news tonight, a Franklin High School student is dead and a fentanyl overdose is suspected in the teenager's death. Let's bring in Mike Benner. And Mike, you've been speaking to Portland public school leaders. What have you learned about this tragedy?
Well, Laurel, it appears this happened over the weekend and not on school property. In fact, police say it happened near Northeast Broadway and 33rd. And we can tell you the Narcotics and Organized Crime Unit is investigating. Beyond that, details are pretty scarce. We can tell you the young person who died was a 15-year-old girl who attended Franklin. We stopped by the school today. It looked like business as usual, but based on social media posts and emails into our newsroom, hearts are heavy. How can they not be when a teen dies from fentanyl? Fentanyl is, of course, a strong opioid, oftentimes produced illegally in Mexico and trafficked into the U.S. in powder or pill form. In 2021 alone, more than 60 people in Oregon under the age of 24 died from fentanyl overdoses. We spoke this afternoon to a Clackamas County woman who lost her son to fentanyl in 2020. Her thoughts are with the family of the Franklin High student who died over the weekend.
She had a whole life ahead of her. And now her family is going to be looking at dealing with funerals and celebration of lives. And then they will grieve for the rest of their life everything that they will miss that they didn't get experience with her.
Our thoughts are with the student's family as well. It is worth mentioning tomorrow night, McDaniel High School is hosting a substance abuse awareness program. You might recall they lost 2 students to fentanyl last year. Tomorrow's event was on the calendar before this Franklin High student passed away. It's just more relevant now. All PPS students and families are welcome to attend. David.
Continuing the conversation and one that could save lives. Thank you, Mike.